Okay, so for my second team, I'm going to go with Ohio, and I just think their schedule is way too easy. They only play Michigan at the end of the year for the most part, and they might have to play them twice. But I just think the schedule thing is easy. They're a good team, so I think I have to go with Ohio, and that's just what my gut tells me, is they have the easiest path to the championship game, and I think Ohio's going to get there.
Oh, man. It's a real sleeper, but I am going to go with Oregon.
Okay, no, I like it. Oregon.
I have a feeling that this year, stuff is going to go down in Oregon. And I think it's going to happen this year. They've been hungry the last 3 years. What have they won? 2 BCS bowl games in a row? Rose Bowl and Sugar Bowl?
I think so, yeah.
They might lose once, and I think if they lose, it'll be to Stanford.
Yeah, because it's at Stanford this year, isn't it? I believe Stanford beat them in Oregon in Outson Stadium, which is that was a good win for them last year.
In Eugene, Oregon, which not even Eugene beats Oregon in Eugene, Oregon. So
that's true.
So I'm going to say it's a sleeper, but Alabama, Oregon. I like that matchup.
Okay, sounds
if LSU
good.
beats Alabama, LSU, Oregon. But for now, Alabama, Oregon.
And this is the one thing. This is the one time that Mr. Greene here will become a huge Alabama fan. Because nothing in the world, and this is the one thing I would like about Ohio getting to the national championship game, because they would get blown away so badly by Alabama. It would be worse than the Notre Dame game last year. It would be really fun to watch that game happen. I would tape it, put it in HD, put it on a DVD, and watch it.
On the Tom Greene show.
On the Tom Greene show. I'll tell you what. If Alabama plays Ohio in the championship game, and Alabama then defeats Ohio in the championship game by more than 2 touchdowns, which is what would happen, that will be the first I will shave my head on the Tom Greene show the next week, wearing an Alabama t-shirt.
And I have an Alabama t-shirt in my closet.
Yes, he does. So, that'll be my first shaven head one. Alabama wins because they're really a lot better than Ohio. Ohio is really overrated. Yeah, they're going to get to the title game, Ohio is, but that'll be it, because after this year, I hate to say it to everybody, get used to Big Blue winning a lot, because all of a sudden, all these super 4- and 5-star athletes will be experienced. They're only going to get more in. Drake Harris is coming in next year. A wonderful rapper named Jabril Peppers, who you will know that name starting next year, could be the next great player at Michigan. We got the big wide receivers coming in next year. Mara Darbo, we lost him this year, but he's going to come back next year. Following season, guy named George Campbell is going to be coming to town. Damian Harris is a 5-star running back. George Campbell, 6'4", and runs a 4.37 40. At the end of his sophomore year in high school, he ran that. So I'm guessing by the time he gets through his senior year, he's going to be around a 4.3. His goal is to hit 4.2 at 6'4". He's a beast. He's a wide receiver. He'll be the biggest wide receiving recruit we've ever had at Michigan, maybe period. It's only going to get better for Michigan. So people better enjoy Michigan this year, because this will probably be as bad as they are for the next 15 years under Brady Hoke. And that says something, because I think Michigan's a darn good team this year. But Alabama is way too good for Ohio, and they kill Ohio. And if they do by more than 2 touchdowns, I will shave my head right here on the Tom Greene show.
I would love to see that. My pick, Alabama, Oregon. As much as I hate to say it, but I do think Oregon gets to the title game, but I think they will be inexperienced under the bright lights and the big show. Although they have 2 BCS wins in a row, I do think the national title bright lights will get to them, and I do think T.J. Yeldon will run the ball for 200 yards in that game, and Alabama's going to win.
I can see it. And let's face it, even if you don't like
now, if Alabama plays Ohio, T.J. Yeldon's going to run the ball for 2,000 yards.
Probably. I mean, you have to face it. Saban's a great coach. Whether you like him or not, he's a great coach. And he also owns Urban Meyer now. Meyer, I think, got him when he first got to Bama. He beat him a couple times with Florida. But once Saban got all of his guys in place at Bama and had a little bit of experience, he owned Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer didn't know how to beat the guy. His defense has shut Meyer's spread offense down. They dominated. So Saban's a great coach, and it's going to take a great team to unseat that guy. Next year is probably a year where they won't, because even though Yeldon will be a junior, they'll have a new quarterback. Well, who knows? I mean, their O-line will be better, so they'll still have Amari Cooper, and their defense will probably still be good. So
just think, last year at this time, people were saying, I don't think Alabama's going to win it. And then after when they were playing Michigan, I remember Musburger saying on the record, it's reloading time in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's basically what they do is reload.
So we're in agreement here. The national champions for 2013, 2014 will be the Alabama Crimson Tide. Tide are going to keep rolling. Wow, it's amazing. They've got something going. Enjoy this, though. This doesn't happen much. When you have a team that's just like PlayStation good and they win 3 or 4 championships in 4 or 5 years, it's like you really got to soak that in. It's like Nebraska back in the 90s. You don't remember that because you weren't born yet. Yeah. But Tom Osborne and those Cornhusker teams were so much fun to watch with that triple option. They were good. And they won 3 out of 4, and now you got Alabama's won 3 out of 4, and see if they can make it 4 out of 5. But enjoy it while it lasts, because it doesn't always happen.
I guess I will see it right now on the record on camera. If Alabama wins the national title, I will wear an Alabama shirt on the Tom Greene Show.
Sounds good. Now, wouldn't it be
last
funny?
Year I wore the Bama shirt to school the next day.
Wouldn't it be interesting, though, if Alabama somehow played Michigan in the national title game? That team that they crushed the year before, and maybe Michigan turns into a phoenix and rises from the ashes, and Devin Gardner, who caught a touchdown as a wide receiver, ends up throwing a few, and wouldn't that be interesting?
Yes.
That would be an interesting scenario. I would like to see that. Lord God of all things, wonderful, please hear me out on that, especially if you can somehow manage for us to win. But
I would like to also see Michigan LSU. Les Miles against Michigan. Because Les Miles was a Michigan man.
Yeah. He'd probably fake punt 18 times and they'd work every time somehow and he'd win. And then he'd be like, have the punter throw an 80-yard pass, and then they would, and it'd work for some reason. He's just
and then Brad Wing would just go like this. Yeah. And they'd get a 15-yard penalty. You remember that last year?
Yeah.
That was BS. That was terrible.
Did that against the Gators.
Call. Terrible call.
If you ain't a Gator, you're Gator bait. You can't do that stuff. You can't do that stuff. It's total. The only time you can rub it in is if you do the Heisman pose, and only Desmond Howard could do that. So anybody else who does it's a tool. Kellen Winslow Jr. Did it in the first game of the season. Who does the Heisman pose in the first game of the season? My gosh.
It's like shouting MVP on opening day for Miguel Cabrera.
All right, well let's move ahead real quick then. Let's do a little first week. Michigan Central. Who do you have and why?
Obvious. Well, it's not that obvious, but of course Michigan, because CMU is going to have to learn to play good football. I mean, Enos is not a terrible coach, but they're just not that strong. CMU, although I believe they will be getting Alex Nearing next year, which will really help them out. Shout out to my man Nearing from Garber himself. You're younger than me. Good guy. CMU commit. Shout out to you, Nearing. Anyway.
I stood next to that guy for a second, and I was like, my God, this guy's, Andre the Giant. He was huge. And he's going to Central. It's like, I want to be like, hey, are you going to Michigan? Because you're, huge.
I'm trying to get him to go to Michigan.
Yeah, you should.
I remember one of my conditioning classes, I was kind of in a huddle, and Nearing was one of the guys in the huddle, and it made me feel like a football coach. how big he is. He's like a tree, almost. Big, physical, not this big, not this big. But, you know, I mean,
No, Central, they have a history of upsets, but it's not going to happen this year. They don't have the O-line. Michigan's defense is going to be experimenting with blitzes and shuffling their guys in and out. Guys like Pipkins, who are backups, Taco Charlton, who's a freshman, they're going to want to see what he's doing. They want to establish themselves as a dominant defense. And then their running game, they want to establish that as a power run. They're going to probably play like 6 different running backs because they don't want Fitzgerald Toussaint to get hurt. But Michigan's going to win, and they're going to win huge.
Yeah.
I think Michigan's going to put up 52 on Central. I think they win 52-10.
I'm going to say 35-7.
Really? Only 35, huh? Ooh, okay. Well, that's cool. So 35-7.
Really, CMU has not had the star team since Dan Lefevre was their quarterback. And where's Dan Lefevre now? He was drafted by the Bears in the 6th round, and I think the Bears cut him.
Yeah, he's probably wherever Joey Harrington is hanging out right now. But and Kickalicious, unfortunately. But
yes.
All right, so Michigan, we both agree Michigan will be 1-0 after the first game of the season, and we will have. I'm looking forward to putting another show together after maybe pre Notre Dame. Pre-Notre Dame. Would that be next week? Because isn't the second game of the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't be opposed to doing that.
Let's do a pre and post Notre Dame breakdown. Why not?
Okay.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, anytime. Anytime you want to come on the show, let me know because this is where this is where it's at right here.
Life is starting again.
Yes.
Go Big Blue. Hail to
Yes.
the victors, and Nick Saban is the man. At least for one more year.
Yes.
Until Michigan rolls them over next year.
And then still when the game's like 56-0 and Alabama gets one measly false start to save, it's like, cool your jets, man.
Yeah. Well, that's why they're good. It's like, doesn't settle for anything. Oh, that's okay. We just fumbled 3 times in the first quarter. We're down 21-0, but let's just keep doing Michigan football. And I think if we do that, we're gonna still win. We're doing a lot of good things out there. Coach Denard threw 5 interceptions in the first half against Notre Dame. Oh, but he's a good kid and he plays really hard. And, you know, he's gonna run around a little bit, but we just gotta keep playing good ball. Coach, he doesn't know which team he's supposed to throw to.